This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
Ever wondered what's behind those mysterious proprietary blends you often see on product labels? These blends may sound special, but they often hide important details. Without transparency, it's hard to know if they're safe, effective, or could cause side effects.
By law, U.S. companies must disclose all ingredients and their exact amounts on supplement labels, except when it comes to proprietary blends. A proprietary blend is a unique mix of ingredients owned by the company that makes it and can't be copied. They might be called blends, complexes, or matrices, and the ingredients are supposed to be listed in order of weight. The issue is how the information is presented. Only the total amount of the blend is listed, but the exact amounts of each ingredient are not shared with consumers. Manufacturers claim proprietary blends protect their unique formulas, allowing their products to stand out in the market. These blends are often wrapped in fancy names and clever marketing, but in reality, they serve as a way to hide the exact amounts of each ingredient. That means you have no idea if you're getting enough of the good stuff or risking side effects. It's hard to check for allergies, interactions with other medications, or safety when the details are kept secret. This can be dangerous, especially for people with existing health issues or those managing multiple prescriptions. Many blends can include synthetic ingredients rather than natural ones, and without clear dosing information, you can't track their impact on your body. If you don't know what you're taking, it's hard to know what works or how your body responds.
I really hate proprietary blends just in general. That would be one of my biggest red flags of a supplement that you shouldn't probably use. Because one, you can't really send it out for testing, so you don't know whether they have the active level of whatever's needed in there. You can't check to see in a study, is there the right level that's supposed to be in there? Mm-hmm. And then in a proprietary blend, you have to list them in order of descending mass. So you'll see a lot of times a proprietary blend is just a way to list a lot of things that people think, oh, it's cool, it's got that, but pay very little, essentially. Yeah. It's a sneaky trick. And so like they'll have like the cheapest ingredient first in that proprietary blend and the most expensive ingredient last because it's in order of descending mass.
The use of proprietary blends is an increasingly popular trend in the supplement industry, offering unique ingredient combinations that promise health benefits. These blends are often a mix of herbs, foods, amino acids, and proteins. Popular examples include green drinks, protein blends, and BCAAs, essential amino acids that help build proteins and are normally obtained from food. While some proprietary blends are backed by research and deliver real benefits, many are simply marketing tricks designed to appear unique and exclusive. Often they contain the same ingredients as other supplements, but with a higher price tag and less transparency. When shopping for supplements, look for products that clearly list all ingredients and their exact amounts. Choose brands known for quality and transparency, and look for third-party certifications to ensure safety and effectiveness. Reading customer reviews can also give you an idea of how well a product works. Don't fall for endorsements from athletes or influencers. Do your own research on the ingredients and their clinical benefits. Contact the company for any questions you have about their proprietary blend. If you're not sure what's right for you, it's always a good idea to ask a healthcare professional you trust.
And so the thing with the proprietary blend is that you can change a formula from batch to batch or even from flavor to flavor and not have to change the label one bit. So what a brand can do is they can put out an incredible product. And once the product is selling well, reviewing well, everyone's talking about it, the brand builds up a ton of affiliates, they got sexy models all over Instagram and everything. But there may be, there has some really good dosing going on in that proprietary blend. Product feels good, everyone's loving it. Then guess what? A year later, you're doing good, got 100,000 YouTube subscribers, tons of Instagram models everywhere. It's time to make our profits. And that's where they could actually change the formula without anyone knowing any better, and then boom, make tons of profit on those future batches.
When it comes to supplements, we all want to know exactly what we're getting, whether it's vitamins, minerals, or herbs. The potency and clarity of the ingredients matter. Without detailed information, it's hard to know if a product will actually help or make things worse. While some blends might work, it's often a gamble for both your health and your wallet.
Many small business owners and artists can find it difficult to get their products out to market. UNN Field Messenger page shows us how local artists are sharing a retail space to sell their creations.
Hi, this is Paige, UNN Field Messenger, reporting from Tampa, Florida. Today I'm going to take a trip to a brand new market where individual entrepreneurs and small business owners do handcrafted items, and they've just had the grand opening of their local market. Florida oranges are very big in this area, and they like to use the colors of the tropics here. Hi, I'm here with Catherine. Can you tell me a little bit about your small business?
Yeah, so my business is Poogs, and we are a small business that specializes in handmade pet accessories products. Right now we just have bandanas, but I am branching into the collars and the leashes as well, all handmade. I hand sew it in my living room. So my husband and I started Poogs about a year ago, and we modeled it off of our own personal dog. His name is Remington, but he's a Brussels Griffon, and we figured that there weren't a lot of small bandanas out there that had good quality. So I wanted something that was more accessible to the public and a snap enclosure, because I felt like that was a little bit more safe. If it needed to come off quickly, it could. Like if it was, choking him or anything, and it could just get it off.
And what are your plans for your business?
Eventually, I'd like to be able to manufacture harnesses and leashes with my own creations and my own patterns that I drew myself, and it's something that's my goal.
There's all kinds of innovative displays, including bacon jam and gator jam, homemade soap, and homemade jewelry, custom local goods. And here's some local flora. And this is what we do with coconut shells. We make them into candles. Florida is our happy place. Thanks for watching.
Artificial intelligence is reshaping how we live and work, introducing innovations that make life easier and more efficient. But as with any powerful tool, there's a darker side to its capabilities. One of the most troubling developments are AI voice scams.
Imagine getting a phone call from a loved one, their voice filled with urgency and panic, asking for help. It's hard to think clearly in moments like these, and that's exactly what scammers are counting on.
I pick up the phone and I hear my daughter's voice, and it says, "Mom," and she's sobbing. And I was, "What happened?" And she's like, "Mom, I messed up," and she's sobbing and crying. And then I hear a man's voice say, "Put your head back, lie down." And then I'm like, wait, what's going on? And this man gets on the phone and he's like, "Listen here, I've got your daughter. This is how it's going to go down. You call the police, you call anybody. I'm going to pop her stomach so full of drugs, I'm going to have my way with her and I'll drop her off in Mexico." And at that moment, I just start shaking. I'm like, "What?" In the background, she's going, "Help me, Mom, please, help me," and bawling.
And you have absolutely no doubt in your mind that that was her voice.
Oh, 100% her voice. 100% her voice. It was never a question of, who is this? Or it was completely her voice. It was her inflection. It was the way she would have cried. I never doubted for 1 second it was her.
AI voice scams involve the use of deep fake technology to clone someone's voice, often a trusted friend, family member, or authority figure. Scammers obtain a sample of the target's voice, which can be as short as a few seconds, from publicly available sources like social media or recorded phone calls. Using advanced AI algorithms, they create a realistic voice clone capable of mimicking tone, pitch, and speech patterns. Once armed with a convincing voice clone, scammers call their victims and impersonate someone the victim knows. Common ploys include pretending to be a loved one in distress, asking for urgent financial help, impersonating a company executive to authorize fraudulent transactions, or claiming to be a government official, demanding immediate payment for alleged fines or taxes.
How scammers are taking advantage of AI. It's no secret that AI has gotten really good over the last couple years, and scammers are already taking advantage of that fact. For starters, they're using programs like ChatGPT to rewrite their notoriously bad scam emails. So things like broken English and constant misspellings that are the hallmark of a scam email are slowly going to start to disappear. But the scariest thing that scammers are doing right now is using voice cloning technology that allows them to impersonate you and your loved ones. All they need is just a few seconds of your audio to clone your voice. So they can grab that from a social media post that you made publicly online, or by calling you and recording when you pick up.
And if you're wondering just how good the AI cloning is, well, you're listening to it right now.
Things have gotten so bad recently that the Federal Trade Commission has had to make an announcement letting Americans know how bad this scam is getting. As AI continues to get better and better, so will the scams.
As of now, the Federal Trade Commission is planning to expand their rules on AI impersonation, but they're mainly focused on cases involving governments and businesses. Laws against AI voice scams include the U.S. wire fraud statute, which criminalizes using electronic communications for fraud, and the Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act, which prohibits impersonation for illegal purposes. Additional regulations like the EU AI Act and proposed U.S. laws aim to tackle AI misuse directly. State laws and intellectual property protections also help guard against fraud and unauthorized voice replication. Laws are helpful, but they can't fully shield you from AI voice scams. It's up to you to take control and protect yourself.
The things that you can do right now to help combat this, have a safe word or safe phrase with your family. So make sure that, if you do receive a phone call like this, or if your grandparents or parents receive a phone call like this, you can say, hey, what's that safe word that we talked about months ago? Or what's our phrase that our family knows? Now make sure it's not something like a pet's name or anything like that, because scammers can find that easily on Facebook, because we all post our pets. Also, never pay the money that the scammers are asking for. Never pay that money over the phone. Also, the easiest thing that you can do, try to just get a hold of that loved one that the scammer is pretending to be. If you find it fishy, or you think it's funny, or what's going on here, just go ahead and call that loved one. Just call them. Then lastly, contact police immediately. If you think that you are getting scammed, make sure that your police department knows so that they can then warn others.
AI voice scams highlight how technology can be both amazing and risky. While AI brings incredible benefits, it also gives scammers new tools to exploit. The key is staying informed about the risks and taking steps to protect yourself. With the right precautions, you can stay at least one step ahead and keep yourself and your loved ones safe.
In a small Scottish village, a young man's passion and perseverance turned his dream into reality. UNN Field Messenger Debbie interviews him about his journey to success.
Hello UNN family, Field Messenger Debbie here reporting for UNN. I am currently touring our Highlands and Islands of Scotland. So behind the sign here is the Five Sisters of Kintail, one of the most beautiful mountain ranges as you can visibly see. I mean, you can all feel the energy and the vibration of it. It's magnificent. But I'll take you a little tour inside the place. They've got a bit of everything. These lovely storybooks for the kids, some beautiful cooking, made with Scottish ingredients. As you can see where they make the chocolates. Busy little hub in a tiny little village, and I just love it. But enough chatting from me. I want to introduce you to Finlay now. Now his website is Glen Shields Chocolates.
Chocolатeswithglenshield.com.
I'll let him tell you though, because this is Finlay. Meet Finlay, everybody.
Hiya, lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you, Finlay. So tell us a bit about how you got inspired.
So I've always been obsessed with food. My granny did all sorts of baking with me when I was young. And then when I was 14, I did a little bit of work experience in a pastry kitchen and learned how to make chocolates. I thought that was so cool, so I got hooked on it. And then when I left high school, I really just fell in love with home and I didn't want to leave. So I thought if I could make a living from selling chocolates, that would be a way that I could stay here.
Fabulous.
So we use lots of local ingredients, Scottish ingredients, showcase our love of this area, this place. Yeah.
So touching. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Lovely to meet you.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
We'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Oh, you absolutely will. Sure will. That's us. Over and out in Glen Shields in the Highlands. Bye. Love yous.
Low-cost airlines always grab your attention with those super cheap fares, right? But here's the thing. Those cheap tickets usually come with a catch. From checked bags to choosing your seat, there's an extra fee for almost everything. So it makes you wonder, are they really as cheap as they seem?
Low-cost airlines or budget airlines keep their prices low through strategic cost-cutting measures, one of which is a practice known as unbundling. This means services traditionally included in the ticket price, such as choosing your seat, sitting with your family, or bringing luggage, are now offered separately for an additional fee. While this approach has become a significant source of revenue for airlines, it also makes it harder for travelers to determine the true cost of their trip. As soon as you start booking your ticket, the add-ons begin. You're offered expensive bundles, including things like a checked bag, a full-sized carry-on, because, yep, decent-sized hand luggage isn't free on many budget airlines, priority boarding, seat selection, and flight flexibility. Want any of these? You'll have to pay more. Major airlines, as well as many international airlines, now charge extra fees for basic economy fares too. These fees often include baggage and seat selection, similar to budget airlines.
We all know airlines love charging bag fees, but did you know it generated over $7 billion in additional revenue for airlines in 2023? Sometimes if you pay for bags when you book your ticket, it's going to be less than if you wait a few weeks. Also, it's going to be more expensive if you don't pay for your bags until you get to the airport. Shocker, it changes and is different for every airline. Southwest, who we've talked about a lot on this channel, is the outlier in that they don't even charge fees for bags. So what's going to happen? One thing is we're going to see more dynamic pricing, but when is it going to end? Are fares just going to get more and more complex? And when is it going to get to the point where the fees are actually more than your airfare? For companies, there's often an emphasis to minimize the cost that you pay for airfare. So while we're trying to minimize these costs, that's even becoming much more complex.
The main difference between budget airlines and traditional ones comes down to how they operate. Budget carriers use a point-to-point model, meaning they fly directly between destinations to keep their planes in the air as much as possible. This helps cut costs and expand their network. They also avoid connections, which means no extra expenses for things like complicated ticketing or delay compensation. Their low prices attract tons of leisure travelers, which keeps them super profitable even without much business travel.
Hey Ryanair, how do you make money if your flights are so cheap? Well, that's because of a few things that we do that other airlines don't. Firstly, we only operate one type of plane, and that's a Boeing 737, which we buy in bulk. Oh yeah, I thought all your planes looked the same. Secondly, we have 30 to 45-minute changeovers on our flights. For planes, time is expensive, so we must ensure that the plane remains the minimum possible time on the ground to ensure it's always making money. That's so clever, I never thought of that. And lastly, on our planes, almost nothing is free, and our passengers are advised to purchase in-flight items.
When flying with budget airlines, keep in mind they often operate from smaller secondary airports to cut costs. These airports usually have fewer flights, less infrastructure, and lower fees, which helps keep ticket prices down. Before booking, make sure the departure and arrival airports are convenient for you. Remember to include the cost of getting to your next flight or destination, whether it's by train, bus, metro, or taxi. These costs can vary based on the day and time, so it's worth doing the math. Sometimes a pricier flight closer to your destination can actually save you money when you factor in all transportation costs. Also, low-cost flights save money by operating during off-peak hours. Expect mid-morning check-ins, late-night arrivals after public transport shutdown, long immigration queues, and limited open shops or restaurants. Low-cost fares don't allow changes or refunds unless you pay extra. Only book if you're 100% sure about the flight and date. Otherwise, it's money down the drain.
Think airlines charge fairly? Wrong. Let's talk about junk fees, and trust me, they're worse than you think. Have you ever booked a cheap flight only to pay way more by the time you're done? Airlines raked in $12.4 billion from seat selection fees in just 5 years. Families now have to pay extra to sit together. Is that fair? Not even close. But here's the kicker. Some of these fees dodge federal taxes, so you're paying more, but public spending gets less. Now, lawmakers are stepping up, pushing airlines to show up all fees up front. Honestly, about time. What's the most ridiculous fee you've ever paid? Tell me in the comments.
In the end, if you're someone who can travel light and doesn't mind skipping some of those extra perks, these low-cost airlines can be a great way to save money. They're good for quick trips or routes where they offer direct flights that traditional carriers don't. However, it's important to know exactly what you're signing up for before you book. The trick is to do your homework. Check each airline's baggage rules, boarding process, and additional fees. Knowing what to expect and being prepared for it can save you from unpleasant surprises during your journey.
The horseshoe crab is an ancient species that plays an important role in the ecosystem. UNN Field Messenger Amy interviews her friend John, who shares his insights and knowledge about this fascinating creature.
Hi, Field Messenger Amy reporting for UNN from Kent Island, Maryland. And today I have a report from Kent Island, which is surrounded by the Chesapeake Bay on all sides. And my friend John is going to tell us about the horseshoe crab that can be found there. These animals have existed unchanged since before the dinosaurs. So here's John.
Hello. I would like to introduce you to the horseshoe crabs that I have found on the Chesapeake Bay. Horseshoe crabs are living fossils that have been around about 445 million years unchanged. They can live 20 years and possibly even 40 years. They are more closely related to spiders than crabs or lobsters. There are 4 species in the world. Only one kind is in North America, the one you're looking at right now. That is called Limulus polyphemus. They are found from Maine to Mexico. Their other 3 types are found in Southeast Asia. Their spike tail, which you see below, is called a telson. They are very sensitive to light, and they have 10 eyes and a pair of compound eyes and photoreceptors on their tail. One of the reasons why you should never pick them up by their tail is you can damage that. Delaware, New Jersey, and Maryland are the largest mating areas for horseshoe crabs, and they mate in the spring and the summer. Horseshoe crabs are a major food source for birds and fish. They feed migrating birds and fish as they pass through and around the Chesapeake Bay and in this area tremendously. So they are a major source of food, and the migration patterns would be highly damaged if they weren't around. They are used for medicine, and their blood, which is blue, is actually taken out of them. They actually dump them back in the bay. In Virginia, below us in Maryland, they have facilities that are taking thousands and actually tens of thousands of them out of the bay. Most of them die when they dump them back in the bay. It's really scary to me to think that for 445 million years, these incredibly interesting animals have survived and thrived, and only upon, modern man using them for coagulants and blood and such, that they're starting to be impacted by man in a major way. I don't see them. Used to be hundreds of them on my beach would wash up, and now I don't see them very far. What you see below you is a male and female mating. The larger one is a female. This one is dead. These ones are males, but they were molting. So they actually shed their skin every few years to grow.
Thank you, John, for that great story. And there's another thing that I want to tell you about horseshoe crabs. And that is, if you get stung or bit by a horseshoe crab, nothing's going to happen to you. So don't worry. And the only thing that is edible on a horseshoe crab is their roe, which are the eggs. And the only reason anyone would eat these is just to say, I ate the roe of a horseshoe crab. So I hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Now it's your turn. Join our weekly meetings and become a field messenger. More information is available at our website, unitednetwork.earth. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.